In the ruins of a broken nation, one man's voice changed the course of history forever. Not through wisdom, but through hatred. Not through truth, but through fear. This is the story of Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany, a story of how pain, anger, and manipulation turned a wounded country into a machine of destruction. Germany after World War I was a nation humiliated. The Treaty of Versailles stripped the country of land, money, military power, and pride. Millions of soldiers returned home to nothing. Cities were poor, families were starving, people felt betrayed by their leaders and abandoned by the world. In times like these, people look for someone to blame. They look for someone to follow. Adolf Hitler was not born a monster. He was born in Austria in 1889, a struggling young man with dreams of becoming an artist. Twice he was rejected from art school. He lived in hostels, walked the cold streets of Vienna, and grew bitter. When World War I began, he finally felt he had purpose. He fought bravely for Germany and was awarded medals for his service. But when the war ended and Germany lost, he did not see defeat as reality. He saw it as betrayal. That anger began to shape him. In the early 1920s, Hitler joined a small political group called the German Workers' Party, which would later become the Nazi Party. His voice was powerful. He could speak for hours, pulling crowds into silence, then setting them on fire with his words. He blamed Jews. He blamed communists. He blamed politicians. He promised to restore Germany's pride. In 1923, he attempted to overthrow the government in what became known as the Beer Hall Putsch. He failed. He was arrested and sent to prison. But prison did not silence him. It gave him time. It gave him a book. While in prison, Hitler wrote Mein Kampf, a book that laid out his dangerous beliefs. He spoke of racial purity. He spoke of hatred. He spoke of expansion. The world did not listen closely enough. When the Great Depression hit in 1929, Germany collapsed even further. Businesses failed. Unemployment exploded. Desperation filled the streets. The Nazi Party grew stronger. People were not voting for hate, they were voting for hope. But it was a false hope. In 1933, Adolf Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany. Many believed they could control him. They were wrong. Within months, he turned Germany into a dictatorship. He banned other political parties. He controlled the press. He created the secret police, the Gestapo. Fear replaced freedom. Then came the darkness that still haunts the world. Jews were targeted. Businesses were destroyed. Homes were broken into. Families were dragged into the streets. Children were separated from their parents. Millions were forced into ghettos, then into concentration camps. Auschwitz, Dachau, Treblinka. These names are not just places. They are scars on human history. People were starved, beaten, forced into labor, executed. Mothers held their children as they were led into gas chambers under the lie of taking a shower. Fathers disappeared without goodbye. Grandparents vanished into smoke rising from tall chimneys. 6 million Jews were murdered. Millions of others followed. Roma people. Disabled people. Political prisoners. Homosexuals. Anyone the Nazis considered undesirable. This was not war. This was systematic evil. At the same time, Hitler's hunger for power did not stop at Germany's borders. In 1939, Nazi Germany invaded Poland. World War II had begun. At first, Hitler seemed unstoppable. His armies moved fast, using a tactic called blitzkrieg, meaning lightning war. Country after country fell. France collapsed. Europe trembled. His speeches grew louder. His promises grew bigger. His cruelty grew deeper. But hatred builds weak foundations. Fear creates false strength. In 1941, Hitler made a fatal mistake. He invaded the Soviet Union. It was the largest military invasion in history. At first, his forces advanced quickly. But they were not prepared for the brutal winter. Soldiers froze. Supplies ran out. Thousands died in the snow. The illusion of invincibility began to crack. Then came the turning point. The Battle of Stalingrad. German soldiers were surrounded, trapped, starving, freezing. Hitler ordered them to never retreat. Many died where they stood. Some turned to cannibalism to survive. Hitler lost an entire army. The world began to see that Nazi Germany could be defeated. In 1944, Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy on D-Day. Thousands of young men ran through gunfire. Many never made it past the sand. Cities were bombed. Lives were lost. The cost of stopping evil was paid in blood. By 1945, Germany was collapsing. Allied troops closed in from all sides. Berlin was surrounded. The beautiful promises Hitler once offered had turned into rubble, smoke, and ashes. In a dark underground bunker, Adolf Hitler faced the end. On April 30, 1945, he took his own life. No glory. No victory. No redemption. Just silence. Nazi Germany fell. The war ended shortly after. But the scars did not. Survivors of the camps walked out as ghosts. Some had lost their entire families. Some had lost their faith. Some had lost their souls. And the world looked back and asked a painful question. How did this happen? It happened because pain was ignored. Because hate was tolerated. Because lies were believed. Because people stayed silent. This story is not just about Hitler. It is about human weakness. It is about how fear can make people cruel. How desperation can make people follow the wrong voice. How danger grows when good people do nothing. History is not meant to scare us. It is meant to warn us. So that we never again allow hate to rise unchecked. Never again allow dictators to control truth. Never again allow fear to overpower empathy. Because the rise and fall of Nazi Germany is not just history. It is a warning. And it is written in the blood of millions who never got the chance to be heard.